Hello, YouTube. It's the Utopian Buddha. I just finished a meditation, and in line with my most recent practice that I've been doing is whenever I go into a super positive headspace, I make a YouTube video. So I just went into a super positive headspace. So I'm gonna make a YouTube video about Yogaville. All right, the final Yogaville video. All right, and this is a positive video, right? I'm actually very grateful to Yogaville for getting me started on my meditation practice, on getting me started on my sadhana path. And really, I was there for about 8 months and I was meditating about 2 hours a day. And I'm so grateful to have those 2 hours a day of time to meditate. Because nowadays, I just sit down and I meditate and I'm in a positive headspace, right? Hello, YouTube. It's the Utopian Buddha. So today I want to talk about how compulsive behaviors can actually be quite complex, right? Most people think compulsive behaviors are like, snacking on too much food and you can't stop and you're just mindlessly eating food, right? That's an example of a compulsive behavior that's simple, right? There's also these things called complex compulsive behaviors, right? I can relate that to both my complex. So for me, it's drug addiction, right? Like, even though I have to, the complex behavior for my drug addiction is I have to, find ways to get the money for the drug. I have to go out and find the drug. I have to go out and pay the dealer, deal with all that nonsense, get the drug, come back to a safe place, smoke the drug, all of those things, right? It's a lot simpler now with marijuana being legal and stuff, but even harder drugs, right? Like I've done harder drugs and that's that same process all over again, right? Same with Swami Satchidananda, right? Because his desire, his sexual indiscretions were not a conscious choice on his part. In fact, I can see into Satchidananda's soul, dude. And I know that he tried everything, just like I tried to resist my drug addiction with all my strength, and yet sometimes I still give in. Satchidananda also resisted as much as he could because he repressed his sex drive for years. Wasn't able to integrate it because he's one of those people who just has to have sex, like me, right? So for years he repressed his sex drive. It turned into something dark and shadowy in his unconscious mind. And it was a compulsive behavior. It was not Satchidananda's fault. Even though it's a very complex behavior, whatever he did to seduce these women, use his power and influence to seduce and mess with these women, it's honestly not his fault. Does he bear responsibility for it? Yes, he is responsible and he should be held accountable for practical reasons, right? Just because like a drug addict does drugs and he can't help it and it's a compulsion, it doesn't mean that you can't like try to stop the drug addict, right? I don't know if jail is the right answer, but maybe rehab or something like that. Jail is definitely not the right answer for a drug addict because they often find harder drugs in jail because of all the connections they make. Same with Swami Satchidananda, right? My drug addiction and his sexual escapades are like, basically on par with each other, right? Well, maybe not on par, but yeah, so that's what it is. It's a compulsive complex behavior. It's compulsive complex behavior that stems from something called the basal ganglia. It's an ancient habit-making structure in the brain. Even rats have it, right? Rats are able to navigate very complex mazes to find cheese because they have this same structure that humans have encoded in their reptilian, in their ancient brain, right? So these are forces coming from the deep unconscious ancient parts of us, long before the human part of us has evolved, right? This is the reptile part of us. This is the monkey part of us. These are deep, old, compulsive behaviors like sex and even drugs. Drugs is a new way to stimulate old neurochemicals, right? Like old patterns. The nucleus accumbens, the pleasure-making center of the brain, it's called the nucleus accumbens. That is stimulated. It's an old part of the brain that's stimulated when you do drugs. So I just wanted to tell everyone that. See you later.